My friends, Sean and Monica, or Monica and Sean, depending on which way they're playing the characters. My initial trials.
Your first
So,
subjects.
in case anyone would guess, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, let's hear some stories.
Has anyone ever done anything nice for you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So, what stories of the Good Samaritan do you guys have to share with us?
So, I mean, I can tell my story first, since I actually knew immediately when I was asked whether or not I would come here and do this interview, because
participate in my insanity.
Yes. Well, it's not insane. I think it's actually really awesome. I've had a lot of I've been blessed when it comes to people arriving in times of need and being able to rely on certain people. But I think the biggest moment that's ever happened has been when I didn't really know what was going on in my life. I had a pretty traumatic childhood. And that manifested itself in many different ways throughout as I was growing up. One of those manifestations was the inability to maintain hygiene. And I was probably in 6th grade. 5th grade is when it kind of started. 6th grade when it really culminated into the worst of this behavior. And I didn't brush my hair for a very long time. I couldn't tell you how long. And I would always pull it back in a bun. And I would go to school with my bun and pretend like everything was normal. But one day I couldn't find my hair tie, and I only had one hair tie. So I went to school with a hoodie on. And if you know anything about public school systems, they don't let you wear hats or hoodies. And so when I was in class, my teacher tried getting me to take my hoodie off, and I wouldn't. I refused. And I was a really good student. I was not a defiant student. I was mostly quiet. I would answer questions, but I never talked back to the teachers. I never did anything. So me coming forward and saying, no, I'm not going to take off my hoodie was an unusual act for me. And he sent me to the principal's office. And when I went down there, the lady at the front desk was, she said, Monica, what are you doing in here? You never get sent to the principal's office. What's going on? And as soon as she started talking, I just burst into tears. And I didn't know what to do. And she pulled me into the back room and she says, what's going on? And I pull down my hoodie and I show her the back of my head, which was just a rat's nest. That, my biggest shame at that moment. She says, okay, well, you are okay to wear your hoodie for the rest of the day. I'm going to send you with the note. I went and, went through the rest of my day just fine without any issues. And I came into school the next morning, and within the first 10 minutes that school started, I got called down to the office again. And when I went in there, the secretary at the front desk pulled me into a janitor's closet, filing room. It was a very small, enclosed space, and there was a chair in there, and she had 2 or 3 bags full of hair care products. She had Pantene Pro V, and back then Pantene Pro V was the biggest, right? Everybody wanted Pantene Pro V, and she had combs and hair ties and all sorts of things to take care of my hair. And she sat with me in there and for 2 hours combed out my hair for me. That stuck with me for the longest time, to the point where, again, traumatic childhood, so I blocked out a lot of stuff. And as I grew up, I couldn't remember who she was, but I still remembered what she did. And I remember talking to another friend of mine who I had never told the story to before prior to this. And I told her, I was like, I feel really guilty because I wouldn't recognize her if I ever saw her again. I don't know her name. I don't remember what she looks like. I just remember this. And it was something that meant so much to me. And within a couple days, we actually stopped by Bed Bath and Beyond for something. I've never been to Bed Bath Beyond before, and we stepped in there, and I saw this woman working behind the counter, and I was like, she looks really, really familiar. And I asked her if she was from the town that I grew up in, and she goes, yeah. And I was like, did you used to work at the school, the grade school, or the junior high? And she's like, yeah, I did. And then so I went over there, and I was like, great, you can tell me this. And I explained the story to her, and she's like, that was me. And so I was able to finally put a name to her and a face, and so now I know who it is, and it's just, I like telling that story. So she had no stake in the matter.
Right. Yeah.
When you saw her at Bed Bath and Beyond, did you tell her what it meant to you to?
I did. I started crying. I told her that was one of the most important moments in my life. And that showed me true kindness. She was gentle. She didn't judge me. Again, I feel, I could have complaints because clearly there was stuff going on in my home life that wasn't being addressed. And she could have done more, but she did what she could. Mm-hmm. And she didn't even have to do that. And so I am thankful for what she did, because it showed me that there are people who do care, and I never once felt ashamed or judged by her. So
cool.
Let your dad do the reaction shot.
Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna use that.
I don't know what kind of reaction. I'm not a reaction.
You did your reaction. We're good.
I'm not.
We're good. I have that if I need to use it.
Oh, please don't do that.